Okay, so we're going to move on to the second bar, and note that we've got an interesting rhythm here. So if we were going to count this out, it would be 1, then 2. Oh, I'll just try and keep this in the same place. So 1, then 2. Let me just turn this into a T. Then 3, and this would be a and. This would be an and here, right? So 3, 4, and. So let me just kind of explain how this kind of works. Rhythm counting it. So first we're going to start with just counting out this. So it'd be 1, then 2, then 3, 4, and 1, then 2, then 3, 4, and 1, then 2, then 3, 4, and 1, then 2, then 3, 4, and. Okay, and it's difficult, this and. This has to be an and not a then, because this is a semiquaver at the end. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remove the 4 and count that out and at the end. So it sounds like this: 1, then 2, then 3, and 1, then 2, then 3, 1, then 2, then 3, and whoa, I wasn't even saying the and there. But what we do is we say the 4 silently in your mind, okay? So 1, then 2, then 3, and 1, then 2, then 3, and 1, then 2, then 3, and 1, then 2, then 3. Now this is a little bit easier when you can do the foot tap as well. If you can tap your foot at the same time, I find it a little bit easier, or you can kind of lean on the metronome and think about you're coming on the other end of that click. It is pretty tricky to kind of get that rhythm right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the rhythm for now, and we're just going to think about the movement of the bow. So it's going to be down, up, long down, and then an up. Okay. So let's just try this on the E string. Yeah, that's great. Metronome failure. Okay, let's get the other metronome out then. So I'm going to slow this down to 50 BPM. So all on the E. 1, then 2, then 3, and. And this is quite tricky because we don't want to fall into the pattern of the dotted rhythm. So if I were to play that with the then at the end, it would sound like this. But what we want is, we want that up bow to come on the and, which is it's halfway. So it's the and is again 1, then 2, then 3, and 1, then 2, and 3, and 1, then 2, then 3, and 1, then 2, then 3. And the and gives us just a little bit extra time to push the bow so that we're in the right position for the crotchet that comes in afterwards, right? Because we don't want to be, too far away from the heel for the crotchets. So, okay, so we're going to try this now with the strings that we would be playing. So this is going to be all E. Hilarious, it's exactly the same as what we've just played. So let's just move on to fingering then. So we've got our second finger in its natural position, that's first and second close together. And 2, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so let's try this now. We're just going to slow it down to 45. So I'm going to give you a count in. 1, then 2, then 3. And okay, it's quite difficult to get that with the quaver. I think the reality is, like, once you're playing this tune up to speed, it'd probably be more like a semi-quaver. But it's definitely worth practicing that technique because it's applicable to other pieces. Okay, so we're just going to add in the first bar now, first bar and second bar. I'll tell you what we're going to do as well. Actually, we're going to include this anacrusis and we'll have a practice of counting in with an anacrusis. So with the anacrusis, we think about the beats that are missing from the bar. Okay, so we have here, if this were 4/4, this would be our fourth beat. Yeah, so we're missing 3, 2, and 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to come in on that fourth beat. Okay? So that's an A3 as well. So 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So, assuming that we're alright with that, let's move on to bar 3. I should say as well, that fourth beat, that should have been an up bow as well. Okay, cool. So, this rhythm should be more straightforward now because we've done it before. It's the same rhythm as the start, so it's be 1, 2, 3, then 4, then. Yeah, so let's just count that through. Again, you can use your foot tapping as well. If you want to start getting foot tapping, you can try this at this stage. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, then 4, then 1, 2, 3, then 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that was a little bit of a craft moment for me. Alright, so we're going to play this now on the A string. I'm going to count you in 1 bar. 1, 2, 3, then 4, then. Okay, great. So let's assume that we're alright with that. We're going to now do the rhythm strings. So you're playing the strings that you would be playing without the fingering. And this is just an opportunity for you to think about string differentiation, tone quality, bow turns as well, trying to make them nice and smooth. Okay, so we've got 1 E followed by 4 A's, 5 A's. Yeah. Starting on a down bow as well. So after, let's do it after a counting of 4. 1, 2, 3, then 4, then. Okay, a couple of little points as well for you to think about. Because we're playing this back to back, it makes things a little bit trickier. Okay, it means that this last semi-quaver, the then, has to be pushed quite hard, so we arrive at the heel for this down bow. And these also need to be slow bows, so you need to be moving the bow a little bit slower on these crotchets to get that nice consistent tone. So let's just think about that now as we play the rhythm strings one more time. 3, then 4, then. Push. Push. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to add in the fingering. So we're sticking with that E to begin with, and we're only going to change the fingering here, trying not to damage my semi-quavers there. So that's going to be a first finger, open, first finger A, and then this is going to be a second finger wide. That's second finger and third close together for the C sharp. Okay, so after 4, 1, 2, 3, then 4, then. Okay, I'm going to speed it up now, but this is the opportunity as well for you to start bringing in the other stuff that we were talking about, string differentiation, tone quality, pushes and pulls, all of that stuff, and to be getting your intonation spot on as well. Okay, so starting from the E, after 4, 1, 2, 3, then 4, then. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to just reintroduce the rest of the tune. So we're going to start from that anacrusis. I'm going to slow it down to 45 for that. If you want to refresh the tune, if you think that you might have forgotten the rest of it, just do it quickly now as I try and get this guy boxed up. Great, okay, so we're going to start after a count of 3 on an up bow, and that's on the 3rd finger A. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna rock on because we want to finish this this line if we can. Okay, so let's look at this bar here. This is quite straightforward in terms of timing. We've got 1, then 2. Oh, let me just write it out and then I'll count it. Okay, so it's 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Let's try this on the A. After 4, 3, then 4, then. If you got your timing down, that's great, but the opportunity here is to be working on the tone quality on those up bows. So like applying that finger pressure to the up bow so you can get like a consistent tone quality between the downstroke and the upstroke. Okay, let's assume that you are okay with that. And of course we're starting on a down bow. We always try and start the down bow at the bar with the hornpipes because it standardizes this rhythm. It means that it's always going to be a nice long down and a pushed up, so we can kind of get that technique down. So starting on a down, we're going to be working the A for most of it with just one E. So this is just going to be difficult for you to count, really, just to know exactly where that E comes in. So there's lots of counting, but with hornpipes it's much easier because you just count those long downs. That's the easier way rather than counting every single beat. So after 4, 3, then 4, then. One, then. 1, then. 1, then. Last one. 1. Excellent. Okay, so let's start adding fingering in here. And everything's going to be moving in step, which is cool. That's also quite a common occurrence in, oof, that's the wrong colour, hornpipes, these kind of movements. Okay, so I'm just going to write in the A fingering. So you can see it's all moving in step apart from this little hop down at the end. And that's an open E. So I'm going to just slow it down a shade because we want this opportunity to get the timing right and the intonation as well. So I'm going to slow it down to a grave. Alright, starting on the down bow. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then. Apologies, I added a C sharp. I did because I was also thinking about this. We want to try and add this tunnel here. So it should be a C sharp. 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, 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 then 'So we're just going to play that back to back. 3, then 4, then tricky. For those of you who don't know what this is a tunnel or a bridge. So we're holding down that third finger over the E and then coming back to that third finger. And if you can, you want to block all of these as well. So you want to have 1, 2, 3 all down at the same time. That's the ideal situation. That's a really good technique to practice. Okay, cool. So we're just going to speed this up to 45. It kind of loses its rhythm really that slow. It's you kind of lose where you are with it. So we're going to play this back to back at 45. After 4, 3, then 4, then 'Great, okay. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to add in the whole of the line. And we're going to stick at 45 and then we're going to just try and speed this up a little bit. So coming in after 3, 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Last 1, 2, 3. Great, okay. Going to speed this up to now 50. Same line. After 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. So gonna knock it up 55. Starting to sound very, very hornpipey now at that speed. So after 3, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Okay, and this is going to be our target speed, 60. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Last time, 2, 3.